Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another installment of Dear Deja, and also welcome back to the Operation Heal 100 Hearts channel, where we focus on healing, humor, and hot topics. Of course, I know this is some of you guys' favorite segment, so welcome to the healing portion of my channel, where we do our Dear Deja letters. So if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell because I want you to be able to have the opportunity to get the notifications when I upload a video, I go live, or I drop a short. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I don't know if you guys do this, but go check the community tab of my channel, because in the community tab, I'll be asking questions, taking polls, sometimes even posting pictures of myself standing up so you can see the whole ambiance. But in any event, let's kick it off and let's get started with this Dear Deja letter. I think this one is going to be intriguing, right? Now, what I can preface this is by saying is, you guys remember I read the letter last week of the bride being about to slide, right? And I was giving some feedback because the young lady wanted to know, what she should do in any event that she's going to get trained by her little brother's friend and so on and so forth. If you did not get a chance to hear my rebuttal to that Dear Deja letter or the Dear Deja letter, I will drop it down in the description so you can go watch that video. My suggestion is go watch that video first, because this letter actually is the second piece to that letter, and it's going down in the DM. So let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Dear Deja, I hate when people try to come and tell one side of a story to make themselves look good or like the victim. You know that bride that's about to slide? Well, let me introduce to you the groom with an open wound. Ooh. Everything my fiance said in her letter is true, even about the part where she implied that there was infidelity on my part once or twice in our relationship. What she forgot to mention is during said time when she couldn't trust me and I was the worst human being in the world, she decided to join the Get Back gang and began corresponding with different men via social media and WhatsApp. And the little innocent and harmless friendship she's trying to claim she shares with her little brother friend is bullshit. She was Snapchatting this nigga. Oh, let's see. Woo! Okay. But she doesn't know I know all of that. And when she decided to forgive me for my ups and we decided to get back together, I chose not to mention what I knew to her. But when she tried to subliminally show me your Dear Deja about her letter, I unleashed the information I knew. And can you believe she still tried to play victim and call me a liar? Yo, that shit took me over the edge. I love my baby moms, and I damn sure love her as my fiance. But more and more lately, those people that I know, my baby moms and my fiance, the love I have for her is starting to become invisible because she's becoming a stranger to me. I didn't make a baby or propose to a woman I do not know. Where is the woman that I fell in love with? I'm not overreacting. I'm over her ass. Signed, the groom with an open wound. Well, okay. Number one on the list. Okay, everybody take a sip. Take a sip of whatever you're drinking. Take a sip of whatever you're drinking. Number one on the list is that. Oof, I got a book on my. The groom with an open wound. He didn't ask for any advice or feedback, so I don't know if he wrote this Dear Deja letter wanting anything, or just maybe to, exonerate him from the charges that was being brought up against him, because he went ham in this letter. This is the second time I've gotten a rebuttal, and you know what's crazy about this is I think the first time it was the same, it was with a couple. So what I think happens is the couples may be having conversation about the issues, and somebody brings it to the Dear Deja, and then the other person is like, girl, you ain't gonna be slandering my name, or boy, you ain't gonna be lying on me, and they come to give their side. Because Dear Deja is a segment of my channel where I try to provide some feedback for folks to have positive outcomes to their situations that they wrote in the letter, I'm gonna still give my feedback. The groom with an open wound, you can totally disregard this if you need to. But if not, take it in stride and let me know if you want to move forward with some sessions, you and your fiance. Okay. Let's discuss. The fact that we do know is that there is a third party involved. I think the issue is what it sounds like from your letter is that your fiance is trying to downplay the involvement of the third party and also her involvement with the third party. And also, I think because of the infidelity in the relationship in the past, I think that there wasn't much forgiveness, as you put in quotation marks, on the fiance's part. And even if there was some get back according to you prior to the forgiveness. So it made the situation rough. I get it. Communication. Communication is paramount. I've had this conversation in many of my other Dear Deidre sessions. Communication is paramount in relationships. And this is just not for romantic relationships. Communication is paramount in any relationship. Working relationships, friendships, family relationships. Because if we don't talk about things, then how are we going to know what's going on? Also, communication with comprehension, right? We talked about that before, how folks need to understand where you're coming from, right? They need to be able to understand where you're coming from. Also, there's another piece of the communicating part that people tend to kind of let fall to the wayside, right? And that is the communication with connection piece. Because if what I said and what you said are not in alignment to some degree, or it's not connecting, it don't matter how much you communicated. I don't want to hear that shit, right? I think the communication is lacking because, one, according to you, there was some infidelity on your part that I'm guessing she had to find out on her own. And then two, I think that when you found out there might have been some infidelity on her part, in order for you to save face, you just let it slide and kept it moving. Now, what you did say was she was Snapchatting that, right, to this gentleman, but what you did not indicate or imply is that whoever else she was doing that with, including him, that there might have been any actual relations with them, which is what I think is the reason that she was like, I'm not even going to bring it up, right? Because it might have looked like to you that it didn't go that far. It was just, quote unquote, some harmless pictures. So it's like, listen, I ain't going to stress myself too much about that. I mean, I don't know if that was the best choice, because now here we go again. Now you're telling me we revisited this again because that wasn't so harmless, right? You guys have history. According to both your letters, you've been together 10 years, you have a child, and you are now engaged. You guys have history. So I would like to know either A, was the communication always rocky in your relationship, or did the communication shift as of recently? Right? And I think for me, if we were sitting down having a one-on-one session, which I anticipate happening, I would have to ask, and this is not even one with your fiance, just one with you, I would have to ask, where did the breakdown in communication come from? When did you cheat? Why did you cheat? You know, and I know sometimes men will say, you know, women think that cheating is like a big thought and a lot of effort put in on the man's part, when it's like, no, I just seen a woman that I found sexually attractive and said, I'm going to just do me for this moment, right? And as a woman, we do think that. We think of every betrayal under the sun. We think it was a lot of dialogue that took place. We think that you planned it. Like, we really get in our heads when guys cheat on us, because it gives us an insecurity that either A, we didn't have before, or B, it probably was a little weak because we had you, and now when we see you wanting somebody else, you only strengthen that insecurity, right? So we do really, really, really struggle when we get cheated on, because there's no way for us to rationalize that, oh, you just seen somebody that you thought was attractive in that 5 seconds and you just decided to pull your pants down. That's not the way we do things. So in our mind, there's no way that could be done. Right? But I've heard from many men, my own man included, that men don't have to put much effort in having some sexual contact with a woman. I mean, you look attractive. I know what position I want to put you in. Bend over and let me put you in it, right? So I do get for men, it's like, okay, I cheated, so let's move on. But if it was that easy, then she probably wouldn't have been Snapchatting her to anybody else. It would have been, let me work on just forgiving you so we can move forward. And sometimes as women, it takes time. It takes time to honestly flat out say, you know what, I'm not going to be mad no more. Let's move forward. We can say that, but then there's a lot of issues that we deal with while we're trying to do so. So I think if your relationship lacks communication, when you did cheat with the young lady, when you did have the infidelity issue, I think having a conversation with her of who, what, when, where, and why. I know to men it's very stupid that women want all these details, right? It is. It's very, very stupid that women want to know every intricate detail. And again, I'm not speaking for all women, but some of us, I'm one of them, you want every intricate detail, because in those details is where we find solace. If we want to believe you and forgive you, it's where we find our sanctuary in order to do so, right? So sometimes you may want to know how the woman looks, so you could be like, that bitch ain't got shit on me. Yeah, she got that dick, but she was whack. I'm prettier than her. You know what I'm saying? Like, the devil is in the details, right? So we definitely want to know, unfortunately, some of us, the details, right? But let's just say your lady is not that type of woman, and she just wants to know what happened and why. Meaning, did you actually sleep with the other young lady? And also, if you did, what happened between you and I that will cause that? Now, I know, once again, I've heard many of men say it. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you. Physically, I felt like the young lady was attractive, and because of that, I did what I needed to do in that moment. Right? So I get that part of it. But I don't know if the woman is able to get it. And if you don't have anything else to communicate outside of that, that may frustrate the woman. Also, I know some people who can say in their relationship, you did something, I did something, now we're even, let's move forward. I also know there's some folks that feel like I could do something, but I can't take what you do. So we can't move forward. And then there's the folks who continuously do things and pretend like they're moving forward, where really all they're doing is staying at constant war and pretending to be happy. If you and this young lady had an in-depth conversation about moving forward, one of the things that you should have communicated with her in order to put this all behind you is what you saw she did as a result of what you did. Right? So let me see if I'm landing the plane with that one. If we're moving forward and you feel or you know that I made a decision because of something that you did to me, if we are having a discussion about what you did to me, please share with me, especially if I don't share with you, what you feel I did back to you so we can work through all of that. Because see, right now, that's resurfacing, and because we never dealt with it, it's an issue, right? So let me give you an example. Let's just say you said, okay, I had my part, I did my part, I was wrong. She said, okay, well, there's a little part that I did, or if she doesn't admit, you could say, hey, there was a little part that I seen that you had did. Was that, a response to what I did? Is this something you've been wanting to do? Let's have the dialogue about it, right? Had you opened the floor to have a dialogue about all of those things, when she ran into that guy, into the gym, she would have already known, red flag, red flag. Me and my man already talked about, he don't even want to see this one here, right? So allowing him to train me and then coming home and telling my man about it is a red flag, and I don't need it to take place because guess what? We already communicated about this. We already had some dialogue about this. We already put this behind us and we're already moving forward. But unfortunately, y'all didn't have any dialogue about it. So now she's coming home thinking, hey, I'm making the best decision of my life because here I am cutting corners and making things happen for us. And here you are angry and upset about some issue you knew from back then. Why you ain't put me on? Let me know you knew this. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a breakdown in communication. It's a really, really breakdown in communication. It's a breakdown in y'all connection. And I think that happens. I think that happens. I think, you're with a person and you know that person, right? So I'm with you since 1988, and I know the 1988, 1995, and the year 2000 person. But here we are in 2024, and this is a new person. You have evolved into someone else. I have evolved into someone else. We have evolved into different people. So now we both need to go to the round table and talk about who these new people are and if they're conducive to the relationship that we've been trying to build. Okay? And if I think that you're the person, if I don't feel like back then when I first got with you, you would ever Snapchat it again, right? And now I know that that's something that you could do in response to something I could do to you, then let's have that dialogue. Also, let's have the dialogue of why you cheated, because that's not something I thought you would have done. Let's converse and let's find a middle ground about who we are now 10 years into our relationship. Because from what I hear, marriage and becoming parents together, it shifts the relationship. You both evolve into different people, some for the better, some for the worse. But you want to be clear and concise about who each other is, because, like you said, you don't want to be falling in love with a stranger. And that's basically what you're saying here. Basically what you said in your letter was that, you know what, listen, I don't really know this person. When we was in year 3, when we was in year 6, and when we was in year 8, I didn't recognize that person. But this year 10 heifer here, I don't know her. So now the question is, do you want to get to know the new her? And vice versa. I said in my last Dear Deidre, love supersedes all. Love transcends all. So in my personal opinion, as long as there's still love, you can get through, get over, and get around anything as long as there's still love, right? And I think, you guys have been through a lot in your 10-year run, becoming parents, getting engaged, and I'm pretty sure there's a host of other things that you've done together, that you've been able to come out on the other side with each other, right? This is no different if you don't let it be. Let me say that again. This is no different if you don't let it be. Because what can also take place in relationships, and it's not only romantic, it could be any relationship. Sometimes you could get over 20 bumps in a row with a person, and the 21st bump, y'all can't get around because you are no longer willing to. Maybe that other person is still willing, but you are done. You was done at 20. You're not going to 21st. So after 10 years and a baby and an engagement, and like I said, a slew of other things I'm pretty sure you guys have done together and was able to come through on the other side successfully, you can do that for this situation as well. But you both have to be willing to do the work. And doing the work looks like sitting down and saying, hey, where is the bride that's about to slide? Where is that person that I fell in love with? Where is she? Because I don't recognize her anymore. And if she isn't present anymore, please share with me who this is now. Because then I have the choice to say if I want to even move forward with this person now or not. You have choices, and vice versa. And vice versa. And I know a lot of times when I'm saying these things in these Dear Deidre letters, I make it sound so easy, right? Sounds really easy, right? Sounds really logical. It makes a lot of sense. It sounds doable. That's the sound. That's the sound. We're speaking about actions, which is why I always encourage people when they write Dear Deidre letters to please follow up with Operation Hill 100 Heart 101 sessions, group sessions, couple sessions, family sessions, and whatever else you may need. Because I'm here saying these things to you off of a general letter that you sent in. But when you're in your one-on-one session, couple session, family session, or whatever you may need, we are now getting to the nitty-gritty of the situation, and now I'm getting all the facts of what took place from everybody involved. Right? So I know it's ideal to say, oh yeah, we went through this, but we're fighting through because we got some tips on a Dear Deidre letter. You did. You definitely did. But I think getting tips and hearing what you should do is a little different from actually putting those steps in place. We have to scale all the way back and see what actions and behaviors do I need to tweak, rethink, and evolve in before I can move forward in this situation. You know, most times, if not all the time, and which I encourage, folks grow. Folks grow, right? Folks grow. Folks change. Folks change. Folks evolve. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. That depends on who's looking at it and from what angle, right? If you're dealing with a person and you feel like I got with you because I see the best in you, but if here we are in this relationship and I no longer see that, do I still want to be here with you? And vice versa. But these are real conversations that you have to be willing to have. And my suggestion is have them before you guys get married, because you don't want to be 2-3 years into your nuptials and fighting tooth and nail because some of the things that you needed to address pre-marriage, you didn't. And now you're dealing with them post-marriage. It's hard from what I hear. I'm not married. Right? So ladies and gentlemen, I want also, from what I just said, I want all my married couples to drop down in the chat. Drop down in the chat. You know, did your marriage make it? You know, did your marriage fail? You know, can you see what makes your marriage make it? Do you know what made your marriage fail? You know, did one person evolve and grow and the other person didn't? Did everybody evolve and grow, but we evolve and grew in separate directions? You know, what makes folks be able to say, listen, I can thug this thing out and make it to forever, or I can't do this no more, I just gotta roll. I remember when my dad died, God rest his soul, miss him dearly, right? When my dad died, my mom and my dad had, I want to say, 30 years together, right? And one of the things that my mom said that always resonated with me was, she said, you know, I know a lot of people that stay together because they have businesses together. They have children together. They known each other so long. They're so comfortable with the person. She said the one thing that I could stand 10 toes down on with your father was that every day up into his last breath and beyond, I was still in love with him. I was still in love with him. So to see a couple grow to that magnitude and still be able to grow together is a beautiful thing. And I want to say this, that's in any relationship, not just romantic. You know how valuable it is to have friends for most of the duration of your life? I can shout out one of my friends, Kenny, you know, a male best friend. We are literally 40 plus years friends. That's a blessing, right? And I'll even say, I'll take him off the table because our mothers was friends. I'll use a friend like Butter. Butter was a stranger to me. A stranger. I did not know this girl. I did not know nobody who knew her. I walked into a shop one day, and from that day until now, we are still very, very, very close friends. It takes a lot of evolving together to be able to maintain that. This is 2024. We are 22 years strong in a friendship. You know, so shout out to relationships that withstand the test of time, because that's not easy. You know, a lot of people evolve and grow and separate. And it's not always a bad thing. But for the ones that can continue to maintain that, it is something so beautiful and so epic about it. Right? And you guys are a childin', you know, you're on your way to the altar, you're 10 years in, you know, I would like for you guys to be able to push through this. But like I always say in my dear DJs, you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work. She has to be willing to do the work. And the work is, you guys need to be communicating. You guys need to be communicating. You guys need to be communicating. You guys need to be connecting. And you guys need to be very, very real about what's taking place. Not BSing, not bullshitting, being very real about who the both of you are. And if that's something that either one of you can withstand. Because the reality of it is, because it's a child involved, you don't want to force something that you genuinely can't do. You know what I'm saying? And you guys can be able to, if you can't, split at least amicably. But when it comes down to the we try, then it can't work if that's not what either one of you want. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very prayerful, very, very prayerful that I will see the both of you prenuptials for your Operation Heal 100 Heart one-on-one couple session, right? I'm also prayerful that the love that I think you guys have, that it will transcend through this rough patch and you'll be able to make it, right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know when I drop all my videos. Please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you like. Now that you're at the end of the video, please make sure you drop your commentary in the comment section below so we can discuss this. I want to hear from my married couples. I want to hear from my single couples. I want to hear my divorced couples, my married couples. I want to hear from my single folks looking to get married. I want to hear from everybody who has an opinion about this Dear DJ and some things that could actually help this couple. Hope to see you guys soon, and thank you for tuning in.